everybody, Xanathar here, and today I am doing a review of the Netflix anime Ultraman, so let's get into it. Let's talk about the characters. Let's first talk about the main character, Shinjiro. In Season 1, Shinjiro is just an ordinary teenager finding out his father was Ultraman, meaning he inherited his father's powers, and he becomes the new Ultraman. He struggles with killing anyone, but eventually realizing if he hesitates, people are going to get hurt. And that's really his whole story arc in Season 1. In Season 2, he mostly gets kidnapped, and that's really it. And in Season 3, he is having a hard time controlling his powers and his anger. Before, he had a hard time killing Anoans, now he's killing Anoans in a very brutal fashion. Getting blamed for things he didn't do, so he goes on a run until he rejoins his team and saving the day and becoming the new Hero of Light, Ultraman. Shinjiro in Season 1 was my least favorite character, and I guess also in Season 2, but in Season 3 he was very interesting and I really liked him, so he's a really good character. Now let's talk about Shin Hayata. He has no memories of being Ultraman except brief flashes of being Ultraman, and he takes the responsibility to be Ultraman again, eventually becoming Ultraman Zulfi. Very interesting, and I really love Hayata. I think my favorite scene is in Season 1 when he's talking to his son about how Ultraman is a curse. That is a beautifully done scene, and I really enjoy it. Hayata is just amazing, and I love his relationship with his son. Now let's talk about Dan Motobuchi. He is very much of the opposite of Shinjiro, ready to kill any Anoan, and that is very interesting. He hates Shinjiro with a passion for being so indecisive about killing or not killing. I do feel like he does keep the spirit of the original Dan, just more angry and more serious. He kind of reminds me of Dan from Ultraman Leo in a way, and I like the fact he basically comes the captain at the end. My thoughts on Dan: I think Dan is my favorite character because I think he's the most interesting and he's just a badass, so he's a really good character. Now let's talk about Akudo Seiji. He has no limbs. Quite literally, he has robotic limbs, something I find pretty cool. He also is not a typical Ultraman, he steals money from criminals. Pretty interesting. He wants to make a world where Yuka can feel welcome to be herself, because she's an Anoan, and that is pretty interesting. And his stepdad is Yapul, basically the maker of his suit. It's a decanic, and that is very interesting and very much of a different take. I like their relationship. And he mainly works with Bemilo. Akudo Seiji in this show, I actually liked. I think he's a pretty interesting take of him, and he's just very fun, honestly. Now let's talk about Jack. He's a very interesting character. Sadly, we don't learn too much about. He lives in the Anoan town, and we know he's really strong. Eventually going to the US and becoming Ultraman Jack. I love his suit, by the way. He's so buff. And yeah, that's really it. But he's a very interesting character. Really funny and just really good. I really like Jack in the show. Now let's talk about Gotaro. I really like Gotaro in this show. He is an portal and he gets mutated and turns into this fireman in a way, eventually getting his own Ultraman suit and becoming Ultraman Taro. And he's just a very nice, likable guy. He's just really good, and I really like this taste of Gotaro. He's just a really good character, and I really like him. Now let's talk about Rena. She is Ultraman's biggest fan, but actually she hates Ultraman for, well, a kaiju attack happened a long time ago and killed her mom. Eventually forgiving Ultraman and becoming friends with Shinjiro, or even more. Finds out, well, she's an Anoan, well, half Anoan. Her mother was an Anoan, and that's why she died, giving birth to her. It was not Ultraman. And Shin Hayata gave her mother a blood transfusion while she was pregnant, giving Rena some Ultraman powers. She becomes Ultra Woman. She is an alright character. I don't mind her too much. It was cool to see she turned into Ultra Woman, and that's something I thought was pretty interesting. Now let's talk about Bemilo. He is the whole reason why humanity is making Ultraman suits, because they saw him when a plane blew up and blamed him for it. But you find out that was not him doing that. He was actually trying to save the plane. a lot of mystery who's Bemilio is. Like, well, he can do the Spectrum way. He also can save people from dying. So, who is he? Well, he is Ultraman. That's something I find so very interesting. I have so many questions. Why does he need to wear this metal suit? And why did he change his name to Bemilio? He's a fantastic, interesting character. Now let's talk about Ide. They brought back my favorite character from the original Ultraman. And he's far more serious in this show, but still a scientist. Something I really like about him. Especially his friendship with Hayata, seeing them together again is so nice. And he was just fantastic. Some of these side characters that pop up, like Rina's dad. I really enjoyed him, especially his relationship with his teammate and his investigation. Honestly, I can watch a whole show with just these two guys investigating anyone. And also, Dada. How did they make Dada so freaking cool? I absolutely love Dada, and I wish he appears more in the show, because he's so cool and so good. I absolutely love when they brought back Hirachi in Season 3. That is so cool, the fact they are bringing back human characters from the original Ultraman. I thought it was so awesome to see him again, especially his reunion with Ide and Hayata. The Villains. Ace Killer was pretty cool, I enjoyed him. The villain in Season 2 was honestly quite forgettable. Now let's talk about Ado. Now, we think he's a good guy, but he's actually a villain, and he's the last of the Setodians. His whole evil plan honestly is quite interesting. He wants humanity to lose its faith into Ultraman, hate Ultraman. And that is pretty interesting. With him being a villain, I think he was a good villain. So the characters in the show, I actually really enjoyed. They're all pretty likable, very interesting, and just good characters. Now let's talk about the animation. I am not the hugest fan of 3D animation, but this show has some pretty good animation in my opinion, especially with the later seasons. The fight scenes are amazing to watch and so intense and so good. Now, with the Ultraman designs, a lot of people say they look like Iron Man, and I can see that, but honestly I don't mind the designs too much, because honestly it makes sense to me. It's humanity trying to replicate Ultraman, and that's something I find very interesting. Out of the designs, I think my favorite is probably Ultra 7, because it's just a little coolest. And second place probably would be Jacked, because it's so jacked. And third place, probably Taro, honestly. Bemilio, very cool design, honestly. Very intimidating and creepy looking. All the Anoan's designs. Now, sadly, I can't talk about them all, because this video would be taking forever. But all of them are beautiful looking and really good updated designs. I'm only going to be talking about two, and that is Dada. Dada is such a good design, a very nice updated Dada design, and I love it. And Mephiles, another good updated design, and I really love Mephiles in this show. Now the Kaijus, same thing, I can't talk about them all, but they are all pretty good designs, I like them all. Any criticisms I have with the effects? Well, let's move on to criticisms first. With the Kaijus, they reused Kaiju models for didn't Kaijus. Not a huge fan of that. Another criticism I have is with some of the faked out character deaths. You think the character died and then boom, he's not, he's back. That's a bit annoying. Now, what did I like? I love the gore in this show. I am a huge fan of gore, and it was very cool to see it in this anime. Something else I thought was really cool, I really liked the Anoans in this show because they were actually pretty scary, and that was very nice. And another thing I love is how this show is a beautiful sequel to the original Ultraman. Like the inclusion of Hayata, Ide, and Arachi, that was just so cool, and I really enjoyed how this show is such a nice sequel. Now, what is my final thoughts for the anime Netflix Ultraman? Season 1 is a pretty good, solid season. It's introduced you to the world, and I really enjoyed Season 1. Season 2 was a good season, but honestly kinda felt a little rushed, but I still liked the Season 2. Season 3 was a fantastic finale for this series, and I really enjoyed Season 3. It was a good season. Now, all of the seasons combined as just one show, this show is honestly really good. It's an interesting take of the Ultra Brothers and Ultraman, and I really like how dark the show is, and it's just a good anime. I really enjoyed it. Well, that is it for this review. Tell me down below what you think of the Netflix anime Ultraman, and what is your favorite season. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new, subscribe. If you like this video, drop a like for this video. Xanathar is out.